Share screen. All right. Welcome to the Total Trading Terminal platform update. And we are doing this for our Trade Like the Quant session today. As more and more people are starting to migrate over to the Total platform. So if you are watching this and you're watching this as a recorded video in the Trade Like the Quants, I wanted to do it at this particular time as we're rolling out Total, but also as the program is about to start rolling into practical application videos. So I think it's a good time for both Total and Trade Like the Quants. Now, keep in mind, Total is a completely separate company, completely separate entity, has nothing to do with Trade Like the Pros, Trade Like the Quants. They're completely separate companies. However, I just so happen to own both companies. And in the Trade Like the Quants program, all the practical how-to videos, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, will be done and executed in Total. So it's good for you to get an overall platform update, as well as Total has how-to videos that are being released every day. So not only will you have this video, you'll have the practical how-to videos for the strategies you're learning in Trade Like the Quants, but also Total Trading Terminal has its own YouTube channel. So when you go to YouTube, you can watch other specific how-to videos that are being released for the Total Trading Terminal. Okay. So just wanted to give you that. Now I'm going to remote into my server. Okay. Because Total right now is only set up for Windows. Eventually we'll roll out Mac and mobile friendly things, but right now it's only set up for Windows. So we're going to just start from scratch. I'm going to come over here, double click on the icon and pull up the Total Trading Terminal. Now it is Saturday afternoon, so the market is closed. Well, crypto market is open, and um, the Forex market open. Forex and futures markets will be open tomorrow. Okay, so um, I want us to just kind of walk through the platform just as if you are, starting from scratch, getting going. And I'm just going to go over some of the key basics of the platform. Okay. So we just double clicked on the icon and brought up the platform. So this top panel here, you can see it's open as if you have nothing, right? So we can see that the platform open, and I can see that I have set some shortcuts up here, and I can see that my Apex just automatically connected. So the first thing I want to do, most people want to do, is to get some data because um, none of your charting data streamlines will work if you don't have any data. So I can come up here to these two arrows right here, and it will bring up the connections tab. And we can see we have multiple different platforms that you can connect into, but the primary ones that we're going to focus on right now are going to be Rhythmic, Interactive Brokers, and Tradier. Now, over time, we'll release how-to videos on how to get the other things, but Interactive Brokers allows you to do stocks, bonds, options, forex, and crypto, um, and futures. Excuse me. And it allows you to plug right into Total with your Interactive Brokers account. Rhythmic allows you to connect into any of the prop firms that you are looking to do that use Rhythmic. So if the prop firm doesn't use Rhythmic, then obviously that will not apply. Okay. And you could set up multiple different Rhythmic accounts all in this one setup. So you can click on Rhythmic and you can add, if you got Take Profit Trader, if you have Apex, if you have One Up Trader, it might be 30, 40 companies that use Rhythmic as their data provider. You could literally just come in here and set up each one individually. And then just put a star by it and it will be under your Rhythmic and under your recent connections. Okay. So we can see Rhythmic already connected. You just put your username in here, your password, and your Apex area. But remember, just like any other platform, if you're going to do Rhythmic, you need to connect to your Rhythmic Trader Pro first. and then look to trade it or look to connect to it in total. Okay. If that makes sense, if you use Rhythmic for whatever reason, if that makes sense, give me a R in your chat box. Okay. If you use Rhythmic, you now know how you can connect Rhythmic. Connect to your Rhythmic first, come into the platform, find Rhythmic, and put your login details and click connect. Mine already auto connect because I have put it as one of my favorites. Now, for interactive brokers, the same thing. Okay. You need to have an interactive brokers on your station already. We could double click interactive brokers. Okay. Put in. So I have 3 accounts with you interactive brokers. I have my hedge fund. I have my private family and friends that I manage their money. And then I have my personal account. So I would look to log in here. Notification, phone, IB. Okay. Didn't get the notification. Resend. Hmm. Okay. Well, oh, you know what? It's Saturday. They might be doing maintenance. Um, let me see. This is a IB thing, not a Dion thing. Oh yeah. It says system notice. Okay. IB is doing some weekend updates. All right. My phone says system notice on the Interactive Brokers app. All right. Well, you would connect to TWS and then you would just come in here and connect. Okay. Then you would have some data. Boom. All right. If that makes sense, give me a D in your chat box. You open up the platform, hit these arrows, and you can connect to whatever data provider you want that's listed. And we will continue to add by the day. And then you can see here that you can search. Okay. So that's how you get data. All right. Now that you got data, let's go over some simple things, right? Most of you all are charts people, so you're going to want to see a visual chart on your platform. So this logo up here allows you to open up the full menu of different options, okay? So these are templates that I set. We'll get into that later. But charts is under analytics. This is another proof to you all that charts are just visual representations of what's going on in the data and order book, and that is based off of analytics. So you can simply just click chart, or if you want to make it a quick template, you can star it at the top and you can see that it'll pop up here. Okay, so I'll click chart and boom, I got a chart. Okay, so that's one way I can get a chart and we can see that I have some data. All right, even though the market's not open, you can see the data on the chart. So that's one way to get a chart. The other way to get a chart is if we had already set it as a template and up here in our shortcut tab, I could just click chart and boom, I got a chart. If that makes sense, Jason, it was opened up to all of Discord. Just go into Discord in the general chat, and there's multiple posts in there that says you can now sign up for the free trial. It started last week. Okay. All right. So if that makes sense on how you can set up a chart, real quick, in the menu tab or your shortcut tab, give me a C in your chat box. All right. C in your chat box. So I just closed that. We can get a chart in those 2 ways. Go to the menu or the main menu, go to analytics, click on chart. Or I can type in chart here and see it comes up as chart. Okay. So I can search, I can click, or I can put a star on it here, make it a shortcut. All right. Oh, the call. Let me drop it in. All here, and it's also being recorded, and we'll share the whole recording with the community. So, Okay. All right. So that's how we set up a chart. Okay. So now let's talk about if you are a order DOM trader, right? Then we can look up order DOM via our shortcut. If we haven't put it as a shortcut yet, we can come in here and we can type in DOM. Okay. All right. So this is if you had a DOM up and you like to trade, you like to see the order ticket outside of the chart, right? So if you were an order DOM trader and you like to trade this way by seeing the order DOM, you could do it that way, or you can look here at the order ticket, make that a little slimmer. Okay. I can set up an order DOM and then also set me up a chart like this. And then what I want to do is I want to make sure that the chart that I'm looking at is showing the same data of the order DOM that I'm looking at. So we can see here, let's say I wanted to change it to something, right? Let's say I want to change it to the ES. All right. Okay, let's go here then. All right. And then I would make sure that I'm got the same data. The market is closed. Okay. But make sure that I have the same instrument on both. Okay. All right. So I got RB here and I got RB there. And so if a trade, if a signal, if I find a reason to get into a trade here, then I can execute on my order DOM and watch it there. Okay. If that makes sense on how to set up an order DOM, give me a OD in your chat box. Simply main menu, type in DOM or look it up, click on it, open it up. If I want to make it a shortcut, I can put it at the top and it will bring it up. If that makes sense on how to set up an order DOM, give me a chart. I mean, OD in your chat box.
Okay, so I have a question. So I can see how you did that. Did you open up a chart from the DOM? Or was you just used a chart that you had already had open?
Nope. I need y'all to follow and pay attention closely. Put your phones
I
down,
just missed that step.
computers down, TV down, all of that. Okay. DOM, I just created a separate DOM here. All right. Hold up. All right. This is the DOM right here. And then I got a chart separately.
Okay.
And then I
All
just
right, that's what I missed. That little spot right there, that simple step right there. All right, thank you.
all good. Okay. Now, let's just say I want to see the order DOM in my chart trader so that I don't take up too much space like that. I can hit chart and then here on the top right, I can bring in the order ticket here. Okay. So this brings me an order ticket. Okay. Not necessarily a DOM, but it gives me an order ticket right in my chart. So this would be considered chart trader because I can click on here, set my stop loss and take profit if I'm manually trading and see it get executed here on the chart. Okay. So that's how we set up chart trader. If that makes sense, give me a CT in your chat box. Set up a chart, hit the top right icon. Turn off chart trader, turn on chart trader, CT. And again, all this stuff has how-to videos on the platform and that's being released. I just wanted to go over as a community and also open up for any questions. Okay. So that's a chart. That's a DOM. That's
John,
chart
please, can you
trading.
go to the chart trader one more time?
All right, everybody. I'm going to open it up for questions afterwards. But while I'm going through this, I need you to pay attention. Okay. Chart, right, chart trader. Chart, top right icon under the X, chart trader. Okay. All right. And remember, this is being recorded. Okay. So now that's one chart. That's a DOM. That's chart trader, right? Now, let's say you want to see like a control panel that you may be familiar with, some of the other platforms, NinjaTrader, TradingView, etc. So you can build your own um, control panel, or you can build it just how like it was kind of set up in the other platforms, right? So we can go into and type in, it's called TRD. And this should, let's see. Okay, you can start here. You can start with account info. So under informational, okay, you can click account info. And this will allow you to see your account info if you just want to see your account info solely. Okay. Then, right, if I want to build up my account info, I can look at my account performance. If I want to look at performance, right, I'm going somewhere with this, so just follow me. All right. And then I can look at orders, right, that are being placed. So these are all different tabs and different information that you could look at. And I'm just showing you where you can get them, right? Under your portfolio, you can look at the positions that you have open, right? So these are all different tabs that you can have. Not sure what I just went. All right. But you can also start putting them all into each other and make one group. And this is how you could set up your control panel that you are similar to seeing in other platforms. Okay. Trades, right? So if you want to see your trades, right? And now you can go into them and look here all as one group. Okay. If you want to trade in your sim, which we'll get to here in a second as well. But you can put all of this in here and you can have it as and you could slide the tabs however you want and set that up as a control center so that you don't have to have multiple tabs open and be going back and forth from minimizing to maximizing, etc. You could pull them out individually and then you could set them all in together into one group. And then you could also, if you want it, click this little button here. You could rename it as, control center and create it as a bind, which we'll go into in a second. But this is how you can set up a control center. You go into the menu, select each one that you want. You can have some trading information in there. You got portfolio information in there, regular information in there, however you want to piece it together of whatever you want to see on your control center. Okay. If that makes sense on how to just set up your control center, give me a control in your chat box. Control in your chat box. All right. Now, the same way I just set that up, and I can close this whole group. Same way I just set that up from the menu, right? If I shortcut these, you see I got stars on some of them, then they're here. And I could do the same thing. I could set up what I'm looking for. Maybe if I want to look at the symbol, I can look at the account info. I can look at my trades, right? I can look at my orders. I can look at my positions, right? All separate, and then boom, all and group them all. And I can create my control center that way. My control center control panel. All right, and the same thing. Boom. And then just spread it across. Put it on the bottom. If that's where I want it, right? Boom. I can look at that. Look at my account info. All right. Boom. Got a control. Nope. Let me do that. Nope. Let me do that. Okay. Got the
So
control.
after we rename it, what can we save it after we rename it?
Twana, I want you to listen and watch, and then I'm gonna open it up for questions.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Love you. Okay. Control center here is now set up. Then, boom, I can set me up a chart. Have my control center at the bottom while I am able to watch my performance and set up a chart trader right there. Boom. Okay, so now I got my chart, I got my chart trader, and I got my control panel where I'm watching my trades, my positions, and my account going up and down. All right. Now, let's just say I like this setup and I want this setup. I can click these three lines here and I can name this, let's call it control center. And I can save that as control center. I can also, once I name it, I can now save it as a template if I want. And I can save different control center setups as templates if I want, and I can choose from different templates if I want. If I like this setup, I can now go in here in these top three lines and I can say create bind. And now I can click here and I can click the control center and now I can create a bind. And now these are binded together, right? They're going to move together. They're not separate anymore. The control center, the chart, and all that is not separate. It's binded. Okay. Then I can come in here and I can rename the bind. Let's call it TLTQ example. And now I can save that bind. And now that bind is saved. So now if I close that, I can close the bind, right? Now I can come in. Oh, you know what? I closed the bind. I moved one step too fast. Okay, but now let's see. Yeah. But now let's say let me set that back up real quick. Let me set that right up. Yeah, I need to set that back up real quick and show y'all. Okay, so now I got the chart. I got my chart trader. I'm going to set me up a control panel. Put them all in a group. I can name this. I can bind it. I can rename it first. Call it CC. Then I can name this. I'm sorry. I can bind this. Bind requires at least 2 panels. Okay, so now I've binded this. Now they're bound. And then I renamed the bind. Let's call it TLTQ example. Save that. And now that I have the bind saved, now I can save it as a template. I can name the template whatever I want, right? Let's call it TE or trade like the quants example. I save that. And now I close it, close the bind. And now I go into my main menu under templates, and we can see trade like the quant example. And now, boom, there's my bind. And I can just create the binds and switch through the binds. And then let's say I want to close that again. And then let's say I want to shortcut this bind and put it right up here in my top. And I got too many at the top, but let's take that off. Okay. So I took that one off. So you could put something in that panel and take something in that panel by putting a star. So I just put my trade like the quants example in. I got too many. Hold on. Let's go. Oh, I can always just put it back. All right. And then I could put, you see it now it's populated up here. I just had too many up there. Right. And now it's in my shortcut. So now I shortcut and now I bring up that bind. If that makes sense on how to create binds, give me a B in your chat box. And again, remember, this is being recorded and you have separate how-to videos. So I'm just walking you through it so that we could get to questions. But I want to go through all the basics that I know you guys and girls are going to want to use and learn how to use. Okay? All right. So now I'm going to right click on that if I want, and then I could just remove that. Okay? So now I got more space for what I want to get ready to show. So now when you download the platform, there are going to be some preset templates, right? For an example, options trader. So I click on the options trader. This is a preset bind, right? It has some charts. It has some option analytics. It has news. Each one of the binds templates are going to come with different setups, right? So we got the Forex bind here. All right. And we can see that it comes preset. Obviously, there's no data right now. But if I want to put these on the Forex, I can just say, so this is the search tab. I can look at different exchanges. I can look at different types of instruments. So we can see here stocks, bonds, options, futures, right? Equities, futures, options, spots, synthetics. And depending on what brokerage account it'll add more in there, right? But I can say, hey, you know what? I want to look at futures. And then it will only list futures, right? And then if I only want to look at futures on the CME, then it'll only list futures on the CME, right? Okay, so then that's my a quick Forex bind. If I want to look at, Forex. Okay. All right. If I just want to look at the options chain, I can look at options analytics. So I pulled up option analytics by going to the bind, going to option analytics, which is one of the templates, or I could set it up here as my shortcut. And now, let's say I want to look at, some of you all may or may not know that you can actually trade options on futures as well. Right? So let's just say I want to look at ES futures options. Okay? And I could trade calls and puts on the ES or on the NQ. And I can look in here in the options chain. Okay? And I can set up what I want to look at here on this panel. I can look at the bid, the ask. I can right click in here. Okay. And I can look at, maybe I don't want to look at bid size. Maybe I don't look at ask size. Maybe, and I can look at my paper trade and I can look at applied volatility. I want to look at delta. Let me look at gamma, theta. Maybe I want to look at the volume. Okay. And now this right here, all I did was right click on that panel and it brought this up and I could customize that panel to what I want to see on there. Okay. Then I can double click here on that and highlight one of the strike prices. I can update how many strikes I want to see in one, right? If I don't want to see that many strikes, right? I can decide how many strikes I want to see. And let's say I want to see 32 strikes. Let's see, I want to see a specific strike. Then I can highlight just that strike price. right? Very robust. You can get super, super detailed. Okay. All right. Then let's just say the data was filled here and there was some options here. You would see this options data here listed under each one of those categories. Then I can right click here and I could actually bring up a chart of that actual options data. Let me say that again on how powerful this is. Yes, some of you all may trade options and you may trade options off of the underlying. So you may trade ES, you may trade SPY, right? You may trade SPY. Well, I'm not connected to Interactive Broker, so it's not gonna come up. But let's just say you trade the ES, right? This is the ES chart here. And this is just, let's just say this was the SPY for an example. Let's just say this was the S&P 500. Let's say this is the S&P 500 stock. Well, the SPY option is the option contract, but that option contract is based off of the performance of the stock, the derivative. Well, the option is the derivative, and it's based off the performance of the underlying. The underlying is the stock. Well, you could actually get chart data of the actual option performance. And if you really, really, really understand what I'm saying to you, you'll understand how powerful and robust this is. So if you are looking at the SPY, you're getting SPY data, which is cool. If you're looking at the options chain, you're looking at options data of how the option is trading. You can now get a chart off of how the option is trading. And then on top of that, because this is how, and this is why I tell y'all professional traders, like our data analysis and our approach to these markets is way beyond what the average retail trader can even imagine. Okay. This shit is next level. Okay. I just really, really, really want you to understand. Now, peep game. Not only can you set up the chart, right? And let's just say you want to figure out how to buy and sell or why to buy and sell. This is just the chart for the ES, right? Now I right click on here and I turn on this indicator. And let's just say I want to come over here and I put pulse on here, right? And I put the pulse indicator on there. Now I got the pulse indicator to generate signals for, let's just still call this the SPY, right? So you know we could take these signals and trade them. We could take the signal and trade the SPY. We could take the signal and trade the SPY option, and then we could also take the signal and trade the ES, which is the SPY future. But now you can also, I really want to find one that we can get some data that I can show y'all and blow y'all mind. Let's see if we can get some data on the options chart. It's the weekend. It's kind of tough. But let's see, because it may load up. Okay, it's loading. But if it loads properly and we're able to get the chart data, and you're going through this, so you could just go through this tomorrow when the market opens or Monday when the market opens. You can now literally put the indicator on the options data. Let me say that again for the people in the back. You can put the chart on the SPY. You could put your algo and indicator on the chart of the SPY. You can pull up the options chain to trade options on the SPY. You can pull up a chart from the options data, because remember, I told y'all charts are just visual representations of the data that it's analyzing. So you can now get a chart for the options data. And not only can you get a chart for the options data, you can put the indicator on the options data chart and have it generate signals. So you have a more defined signal for that actual options contract. I'm just going to leave that there for y'all to marinate on. Okay. So I'll leave that there for y'all to marinate on. All right. That data not loading. It's the weekend. Maybe I'll do it again during Trade Club or something like that. Okay. And you can also trade options here in the sim. So you can trade your options now in the sim. Okay. And not risk any of your own money while you're learning and practicing how to trade options. Let's see if we can get some chart data on here. Okay, so maybe I'll do it next week when we are live. But you can come in here and you can add a strategy. This actually briefs you on what the strategies are. So you can do, you can look at strategies by the trend, uptrend, downtrend, volatility, arbitrage, and you can click on one, right? Let's just say you want to do a long call. It'll tell you what a long call is. And then you can add that strategy in here. All right. And then you can look to do it as a paper trade. And you can paper trade options. And then, yes, each one of these will have how-to videos on how to do all of that. Okay. But you can paper trade the options and see how you would perform if you were trading it live. So you can now trade options without risking any of your own money as you learn. You're welcome. Okay. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful thing. And you could track all of this in the same platform. Okay. So that's options. All right. And again, I know all of this is robust and you're going to have breakdown videos and you're going to be trying and practicing, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Take your time, do your part. All right. Let's go back to a chart here and let's just go step by step on how to get the indicator on there. So you got your chart up and all I simply did was right click on the chart. I scrolled down to indicators. I went to add indicator. And then if you have purchased an indicator from Trade Like the Quants, Trade Like the Pros, or the quants.trading website directly, and you got to use the same email that you signed up to pay for your algos to sign up for Total, then your algos will be automatically populated in your system already. So right now, if you signed up with Total with the exact same email that you signed up with Trade Like the Pros or Trade Like the Quants, or that you purchased the algorithm, your algos are already in. And now you just go in and you can set them up how you want. Boom. And now you got your algos on your chart. If that makes sense on how to set up your algo, your indicator, give me a I in your chat box. Pull up the chart, right click, indicator, add indicator, and boom, there you go. Now that's just for the algos, but that's also there's over 100 preset indicators in there too. Some of you all like the EMA, exponential moving average. If you want to see it on your chart, you can come in here, set it to whatever you want, set the size, the width of it, and set it up if that's what you want to do. Right? Right click, indicator. You can search by indicator that you want and do the same thing. Okay? If that makes sense, and then you can leave this up here, or you can hide that so it's not taking up some chart space, or you can leave that up there, and let's just say you want to hide them for right now, but you want to keep them up there. You can turn the eye on, boom, boom. If that makes sense about the indicator and how to set up your indicators, whether it's the predefined ones or yeah. Yeah, it gets nice. Now y'all see taking our time, right? Take time to create greatness. Yes, Tawana, we have the how-to videos. You're gonna be able to watch them. You can go to the YouTube channel right now. Go to YouTube, type in Total Trading Terminal, and we're releasing them literally every day. Okay. All right. And then if I just want to take all of the indicators off the chart, I can just scroll right here, click X, boom. And now that's off of my chart. Boom, click X. Now that's off of my chart. Boom, click X. Okay. That's your indicators. All right. Now let's talk about how to set up a strategy, right? Because remember, the indicator is just the visual indicator. The strategy is what actually does the automatic trading. Okay. So I can go in here. All right. And I can go into Strategies Manager. Strategies Manager. And I also have it here as a shortcut. Strategies Manager. So Strategies Manager brings up the Strategies tab, right? And when I'm setting up my control center, I can put the Strategies tab in there if I want as well, right? So boom, make it a group. All right. I can put them all in a group. All right. And now my Strategies Manager is in my group. All right. Or I could X that out, keep it separate by itself. All right. So just showing you it can go into the group as well. All right. So how do I set up a strategy? So I got the Strategies tab up. I can right click and click Add Strategy. But you also see you can backtest the strategies. Get in there and have fun. Okay. Add the strategy. Then it's going to bring up all the strategies that I have from what I pay for, or what I have from the Trade Like the Quants, Trade Like the Pros, or if I bought it individually on the quants.trading. This is also why I told y'all, once we start releasing all of this, we're going to start building a bunch and releasing a bunch more. Look how many more algorithms we already got built that we haven't released yet, right? So, you know, when on the Trade Like the on the quants.trading website, you could buy each individual algorithm for $99 a month, or you could pay $300 a month for the bundle. And every algorithm that we release, you don't have to pay an additional charge. It's just released in the bundle and you get it as a free upgrade. Okay. So yes, you got some algorithms that come with your course that you may have purchased, or you may have purchased the algorithm individually, or you may have purchased the bundle. Either way, now you can buy them on the quants.trading, or you could buy them in the course, or that comes with your course, and it's integrated right into Total already. So let's just say I wanted to set up the poll strategy. If you bought Trade Like the Quants and you paid full price, you should also see QB. If you don't see QB in there, just hit Athena. Her and Jason will make sure that you get your QB strategy, the QB algo, if you pay upfront. Okay. Also, we're probably about 2 weeks away from releasing our first fully automated options algo. That will be separate. It's not a part of Trade Like the Pros or Trade Like the Quants. It will be in the quant website. Okay, so I double clicked and we can see Pulse is right here. And then I go into the settings tab and I click settings, and now I can set up my strategy. So my instance name is going to go right here of what I'm naming this. So let's call it TLTQ Pulse, right? That's what I named it. I can select my type of moving average. By default, it's on the EMA, so I'm just going to leave it there. I could choose my symbol. So let's say I want to trade on the ES. I could choose the account that I want to put it in, any Apex account, any live account, any sim account. Okay. I could choose how many contracts I want. I could choose what time frame I want. I could also choose tick, second, hour, day, etc. You could also end up doing volume if you want. I could set the start time that I want it to start, the end time that I want it to end. I could set my crossover parameters if I want the 10 versus the 20, or the 5 versus the 8, or the 8 versus the 13, or the 50 versus the 200, whatever your heart desires. I can limit it on how many trades I want per day, or not limit it. All of the same settings that you're used to, that you want to pick and put in. I could use to say, hey, I want a profit target or no profit target, a stop loss or no stop loss. Now, if I take the stop loss off, it automatically defaults to trade from signal to signal. Let me say that again. If I take the stop loss off, it still defaults to trade from signal to signal, which still has a built-in stop loss parameter. Okay? If I do have my target
all
on,
the strategy?
I'm sorry, what?
Is that for all the strategy or just for pause?
This is for the strategy setting for pulse, and each one is unique. But by default, if every strategy I use, by default, professional traders, we trade from signal to signal. So that's by default in there. You can decide if you want to use a target or a stop loss that is additional to the signal to signal. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So if I want to use a target, I can set my target in ticks and my stop in ticks. So if I get into a trade and I want to do 100 ticks of risk, I can tap that. And if I want to do at least a 2-to-1 risk to reward ratio, then I can set my profit target to ticks. If I want to use the break even, I could check it. If I don't, leave it unchecked. If I do put it checked, I can set what that is. If I don't want a defined stop loss, but I want to use a trailing stop, I can set up my trailing stop in here. Continual trail trigger. So if it reaches 100 ticks, then I want it to trigger and move. If it does reach that 100 ticks, how many ticks do I want to be behind it? So let's just say I'm getting in a trade and it goes 100 ticks in my favor, then I want it to move the stop loss to 50 ticks behind it. So it will be 100 ticks in profit, but I got 50 protected. And that has now protected my money. So now I click apply changes. If that's what I want to set in my settings, I apply the changes and then I simply click run and it would run. If there's an error, it will pop up and tell me in there. But if there's no error, now that algorithm is working. So we just set up the pulse. We named it Trade Like the Quants Pulse for this example. And then now I can see that it's working because I set up the settings and I turned it on. If I want to delete it, I stop it, and then I cut it. I hit the trash can, and then I have deleted it. Now, again, I'm just walking through this briefly so you get a platform overview. You'll have this recording and you have the how-to videos on YouTube. Okay? So that's how I set up a fully automatic strategy. All right. And then a couple of things. There are different types of traders here in the community. So I want to show you some different types of charts real quick. And then I'll open it up for questions for a few minutes. Okay. So let's just say you are a spread trader and you want to create a spread chart and you want to do some relative value arbitrage. Okay. So now let's say I got my ES data here and I'm looking at the ES chart. But then I can go up here to the drop down menu and I can change what kind of chart it is. And I'm going to change it to a line chart. So now I got the ES and I'm looking at the same data, but instead of a candlestick, I'm looking at it as a line. And then let's say I want to do some relative value arbitrage. Let's just say I want to do the NQ. Okay. And let's say I want to do the NQ. And then I want to compare it to, let's call it the ES or the RTY or the Dow Jones, the YM. I can now go to overlay and I can add the ES, for an example. I could put it on a separate scale or I could put it on the main scale. Main scale means it's just going to come over here on the right. Separate scale means it's going to come over here on the left. I can make sure that it's a line chart, and then I can change the color. And now, just choose size, separate scale. And now I have these compared against each other. And now I can trade what's called relative value arbitrage. So now I can see that the NQ is outperforming the ES. And so now I can, if I know how to trade this and I know why to trade this, I can sell the NQ and simultaneously buy the ES. And that is how I can set up my spread chart. So if I know how to run spreads, if I know how to trade spreads, if I know how to do relative value arbitrage, which is something you'll also learn in Trade Like the Quants, this is how I set up a spread chart. Set up my main chart, turn it into a line, right click, turn it to an overlay. And now I can also see comparatively how all of the equities are performing against each other. I'm not going to go too deep into this. But if you know, you know. If you don't know, then you'll learn soon in Trade Like the Quants. And I can see how all the equities are performing relative to each other. That's why it's called relative value arbitrage. Okay. Let's just go green for shits and giggles. Okay. If you know how to relative value arbitrage trade, cool. You know what I'm talking about. If you don't, just be patient, trust the process, go through the program. Okay. I'm not sure why it's not. Whatever. If you want to add YM, it'll come there later, right? And then if I know why to buy one of these and sell one of these relative to each other, then I know. Okay. But that's how I set up a spread chart. And then if I trade spreads often, I could just come in here and click spreads. Okay. And I could do relative value arbitrage on multiple instruments. So here I got the NQ versus the RTY. Here I got the 10-year treasury note versus the 30-year bond. Here I got crude oil versus natural gas. Here I got gold versus silver. So if these things are highly correlated, if they're related to each other in the same industry or sector, I can run relative value arbitrage. That is a spread trade. All right. If you are a order flow trader and you trade off of order flow, also known as footprints and footprint charts, okay? You can now literally come in here, and this is just other visual representations of why I tell y'all there's so much data that you all don't know and don't know how to see because you don't know what you don't know and you don't know what you're looking at. Okay? But this is the same. Let's go into the 1-minute candlestick. Okay? This is the same data, but it's a different chart type. And now I can literally see every single buy and sell down to the actual millisecond of every single trade that's happening. And I can look at the bar statistics and it will tell me how many trades are taken in that bar. It'll tell me how much volume. It'll tell me the buy side volume, the sell side volume, the delta, and the delta percentage all in here. So if you are a footprint trader, if you are a order flow trader, you are in heaven now because you now see this. You'll also be able to see the point of control. You'll also be able to see the delta imbalance. You can do time histograms. So this is a time chart. This is a 1-minute chart. This is why I tell y'all chart patterns are not fucking real because I'm still looking at the 1-minute chart. This is the 1-minute chart. So we're super abundantly clear. This is the 1-minute chart. But if I bring up this same chart here, okay, if I bring up this same chart here, the exact same chart, the exact same data, but I'm only looking at a time chart. This is the only 1-minute chart and it's a candle. And remember, a regular candlestick only has 4 data points: the open, the high, the low, and the close. So in this same 1-minute candlestick, right here, in this same 1 minute, all you see is that it opened at 21,873. The high was 21,876, and the low was 21,872, and the close was 21,874. Those are the only 4 data points you have in that candlestick. Period. However, if I know that I can get level 2 data and I can go into this candlestick and see the actual every single buy and sell and every single tick. I'm almost done. Give me a second. Okay. Hold on. Okay. So this is why I can tell you all with validated, quality, data-driven, professional proof that chart patterns are not real. Now imagine you looking for a double bottom, triple top, whatever bullshit they sell you online, and then you trading against professionals that can see all this data. You're gonna get cooked. You're gonna get cooked. Okay? And all those are different styles and types of trading. So I just wanted to give you that as an overview of the platform. I'll open it up for questions for a few minutes. You have the how-to videos on the YouTube channel. And then also, once we get to the practical application videos, that's why I was also slowing the game down for Trade Like the Quants. I know a lot of y'all was like, oh, Dion, you're going too slow. Speed it up. I want to get the trading. Once y'all see it, y'all can't unsee it. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. Once you learn it, you can't unlearn it. But learn, I told y'all, this is my last course that I'm creating. So I wanted to make it as robust as possible and slow the game down for y'all so y'all have this deep knowledge and understanding. You don't have to trade all of this. You don't have to trade all of these different styles and all these different concepts, but at least knowing them and being aware of them and knowing that they exist gives you the power. Okay? So that is the platform overview. Obviously, it's a lot more that you can do, you know. Oh, also, the news. So the Financial Juice, this is how you get the news. You just click Financial Juice, right in here in the main menu, scroll down, informational Financial Juice. So this replaces the need to go to forexfactory.com every day because it's literally now right here built in the system. And you can see red and orange folders, just like we do when we go check Forex Factory. So now you can do that. Also, when you in the next update, you may have it or may not have it right now, but in the next update, you'll be able to click over here and go directly to the quants.trading website, purchase an algo individually if you want, and within seconds, it'll be in your platform because they're integrated in the back. They're completely separate companies, but because I own both companies, I integrated it so that you could go in here and buy your algorithm. It'll pop up like a website. It'll pop up like a browser, and it'll take you right to the quants.trading. It'll take you right to the website, and you could buy the algo right now, and you will have immediate access to that algorithm in Trade Like the Quants. So you don't have to wait for Athena to set it up. You don't have to wait for Jason to approve you. Bop, 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 bop. You go in and you can buy the algorithm individually. And we're just going to continue to release algorithms. Now, again, right now it's like 6 on there. You could buy them $99 a month for each one individually, or you could buy the full bundle for $300 a month. And then every time we release a new algo, you'll already have it in your system. Okay? That is the platform overview. I'll open it up for a few questions and then I got a slide. But now, for those of you all have been around, y'all see the time, energy, effort, resources, all this that we put in here and why it took us this time to get this lift, how smooth, how defined. Oh, also, in the next couple of weeks, no more Zoom. we're gonna be live streaming right from Total. That's being built in too. And then in the next couple of weeks, also Agent Q will be built right in there. So you'll have your AI trading assistant right there in the platform. You'll have your algorithms right there in the platform, and we'll be live streaming right from the platform. And you will be able to live stream right from the platform. So if you want to live stream with your friends or your family or your community, you'll be able to live stream from there. And then what else we got coming? And then the options algo. It's different over here, y'all. Men lie, women lie. Results and numbers don't lie. People say that they could do X, Y, and Z. We really do it over here. Okay.
So I have a question. So the new juice, I guess I said that right.
Financial juice, yeah.
Financial juice. Is that replacing Money Clip?
No, Money Clips is the email newsletter that we send out. The financial juice is we don't have to go back to forexfactory.com anymore because it's right.
Oh, gotcha.
So part of our morning routine, we do the disclaimer, we do the trader screen, and then we go to Forex Factory. We don't need that step anymore because it's right there in the platform.
Right. Okay. Okay. Good. Thank you.
Yeah. Steph says, how do I get a footprint chart? It's not showing under templates. Yeah, it's not under template. I created that, and that's for me. You just go in and you create the chart, and it's a step-by-step how-to video on the YouTube joint. Because it's a little bit more detailed to get that chart set up. So I just saved it as a template. But once you go through that how-to video, it teaches you step by step, and then you could just save it as a bind, and then save it as a template, and then put it in here as a template, and then put it in here as your shortcut. Okay. But it's a little bit more detailed. So I want you to go through that step-by-step video. Yep. Any other questions, comments, thoughts? Take your time, have fun with it. That's why you got a 14-day free trial. Get in there. And also now y'all see why we charge the $7 a month. Because we're putting all of this stuff in here and we're not selling your data. So robust platform. You're able to do stocks, bonds, options, futures, forex, and crypto. You're able to do spread charts, footprint charts, time charts, volume charts, tick charts, all of that. You're able to stream live from there very soon. You're able to go online to the browser right there. You're able to buy your algorithms right there. Your algorithms are integrated. You could do manual, semi-automatic, fully automatic trading. Like, we really do this over here, okay? So, you know, you got to pay to play. But now you see somebody like, oh, well, why would I pay $70 a month? What other platform can you do all of that in one place and not sell your data? The free trial, if you go into the Discord or if you go into your email, because we definitely emailed it out, the link to sign up for the free trial is there, or just go to totaltradingterminal.com. Okay, copy trades. So the algorithm, you can set up the algorithm individually for each system or for each account that you want to trade. And the algorithm could trade all of those accounts simultaneously, fully automatically or semi-automatically. You don't need to buy a separate copy trader. The algorithms can do that for you. And I definitely don't suggest manually copy trading because that would be a disaster. So semi-automatically, you could turn the algos on, let it get in for you. You can manage them how you want. Fully automatically, it'll trade all of them simultaneously. Yeah, I went over connecting to IBKR, but they are doing a system update because it's the weekend. So we do have how-to videos. And when you sign up for the free trial, there's a PDF document that goes into that. And I dropped the PDF for the data packages that you could select in the Discord as well. Okay.
Hey, Dion, is the options algo a part of the bundle package or is it a separate purchase?
So it is a separate purchase. Excuse me. It's not a part of the bundle because that's going to be our first options algo. All the other algos work across the other asset classes. This only works on options, so it's separate.
Thank you.
Yep. But it'll only be $99 a month.
Okay.
Yeah, it just won't be a part of the bundle because it only trades that one individual asset class, and I don't want people to get confused because you can use the other algos on across the other asset classes.
Makes sense. I appreciate it.
Yeah, my pleasure. I know it's a lot. I know it's relatively quickly, but that's why you got a 14-day free trial. That's why you have the how-to videos. That's why you have Athena. That's why you have me. And then you see me using the platform every day, all day in our live sessions, and you can ask questions there as well. Okay. We work hard for y'all. Okay. Putting this stuff out and making sure that it's quality. And y'all understand now why I take time releasing this stuff, because I'm not releasing it or putting my name on it or a brand on it if I don't believe in it. And it's here. And now it's ready for the community. So a week or two, we'll let y'all rock. Go to www.totaltradingterminal.com. Okay? And you can start your free trial. Bang, bang. Okay? Inner Circle, I got some great updates for y'all tomorrow for investment opportunity for ZPG. We're going to do a full deep dive. I'm going to give the opportunity to Inner Circle first, but I'll tell everybody. Let me stop recording because this has nothing to do with that. All right. If you're watching this in the replay for Trade Like the Quants, that is the total overview. You can go to totaltradingterminal.com for the free trial, and you can go to the Total Trading Terminal YouTube channel for the how-to videos. Okay? All right. Let me stop that.